Good morning. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 20,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of planning our trades. That being said, let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. But please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Sorry, excuse me. That time of year, huh? Winter's on its way. Well, hey, my name is Wayne McDonald. I'm a currency trader just like you. I love trading. I really do. I was looking at how investment banks structure some of their deals. Now, how they sort of hedge risk out of their deals and stuff like that. I think it's just super interesting. I'm like, I got to learn everything about structured products. Like, why? I don't know. It's money. It's a deal. It's a trade. I don't know. It's all really, really fascinating. So anyways, I love this whole thing about finance. And in many cases, what we do is we just finance global productivity. Companies and countries utilize the foreign exchange market, and we help facilitate those investments and those trades and those moves. So anyways, we do good things and we make the world a better place. So thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you about being excited about what we do every day, because I think it's important that you fall in love with being a Forex trader. No need to get rich quick. No need to cut corners. No way to try to find a way to be successful without doing any work, because all of that is nonsense. It's a fool's errand. It's a child's dream. So instead, we look at Forex as a business, and so we wake up every day and we need to create value. And like everything else, you have to create more value than what you get to keep. If you're going to slowly grow your trading account, that means maybe you can take 20% of your profits out, but you'll need to leave 80% of your profits in your account so that you can grow your account bigger and bigger and bigger over time. That's called a business, man. That's what businesses do. If you've ever owned a business, you know what it's like. If you're a business owner, it's not about rich. You're the last person to get paid. Huh? Anybody here ever own a business? Business people know everything comes first. The owner comes last. So anyways, that's what Forex is like. Your boss is the size of your trading account, and you need to grow it over time. Yeah, Steve's like always last. Jim's like several. Yeah, but anyways, the youngins, they think it's all about models and bottles, and time to grow up. Anyways, let me know how I can help. I have a background in technical analysis. I know a few things. I've done a few things. I can build up the charts. I can break down the charts. In most cases, I understand the math of what's going on, so I don't look at an indicator and go, ooh, it's a magic indicator. It's telling me the future. No, it's an algorithm. It's doing math. So anyways, we can go through technicals and the math of everything. We can go through fundamentals and macroeconomics and try to figure out why things are moving. We can go through trader psychology. And of course, I've been dealing with trader psychology the last several days because we have, over the last 5 trading days, we've had massive amounts of risk event risk in the market. And I've essentially been neutral. And I think in many cases, if you followed along with that, that may have been a pretty decent, okay way of trading. Yeah, sure, you're not going to make a lot of money being neutral, but my number one goal is not lose a lot of money. So with that being said, today's probably going to be, an interesting day. But tonight is the election in the United States of America, the midterms, and power could shift and will probably shift if I were to guess in the United States of America. And does that matter? Oh, yeah, it does. We're talking about the largest economy in the world, and also the reserve currency will be impacted by today's event. So yet another big event. Would you like to hang with me during the U.S. elections as all the numbers come rolling in? Huh? Would you like to? I've set up an event for you. Here we go. Hang on. Right there. Got to get my pen out. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, right here. Okay. Okay. So it'll be about 3 hours. Here, I'll pop that in there. Thank you for being part of our community. Thanks for hanging with me every day. So this is sort of like a thank you. Cool. And I'll watch probably 5 or 6 or 7 different news outlets over the evening, from CNN to CNBC to CBC in Canada, BBC in the UK, Al Jazeera, wherever they are, and probably more. So I'll flip around and get everyone's opinions, because I think everyone has an opinion and they all stink. So that'll be good. I'm also thinking about getting a kickin' chicken pizza. That's jalapenos and chicken and bacon. Extra cheese. Put some red pepper flakes on there. So anyways, it should be a fun evening. You're welcome to come along. So anyways, I popped that up for you. All right. So what else? What else can I do to help? What else can I do to help? I'm here to help. Let me know how I can help. I'm in the process of writing a book, another book. I'm in the process of setting up a podcast. I've already set up a book club. I just haven't launched it. There's a lot I want to do, so let me know how I can help. Okay? Yeah, what currencies and what stuff, we can go through that as well. So just, okay. In the description below, you'll see a link to my old book from 2008. You probably have already read it. If you could leave a review on Amazon.com, I'd appreciate that. It won't take very long. You have an Amazon account, you just log in and leave a review. So it took me a year to write the book. I have a fear of writing the new book because of the carpal tunnel syndrome I got writing the first book. So that's actually a bit of a fear. So if you can spend 5 minutes or 2 minutes and leave a review, I'd appreciate that. Also, you'll find a link to fxbootcamp.com. Most of you are already members. It's $88 a year. In exchange, you'll get 65 hours or more. I'm told it's probably closer to 88 hours of videos for $88. So you're probably already a member, but look, if you're new, that's where that will give you an amazing amount of information on how to trade properly. If you need an ethical foreign exchange broker with fast execution speed, narrow spreads, huge swaps, I recommend tradersway.com. Another major benefit is they're an ECN. They don't trade against you. They don't B-book you and hope you lose. Instead, They just they execute your trades in the interbanking system and then capture a narrow spread to try to pay the bills. Okay. Mitch says, hey, I'm currently taking your FX Bootcamp courses, and I'm curious, what is the core chart for swing trading? Is it 4 hour? All right, well, let me move over. By the way, all those links to FX Bootcamp, to the book, to Trader's Way, like tradersway.com, for example, all that's in the description below the video. Take a look. Question is, what's the core chart for swing trading? Let me answer it this way, because I don't know if it's just swing trading, right? Analysis is analysis, strategy is strategy, right? So this is just simply in any sort of analysis, how do you break things down? Well, it took me a long journey to get to this next thought process. So please allow me to just take a moment. I noticed that the chart, I asked myself, what is the chart actually doing? Okay. And I realized there's only two things on the chart: price and time. So in the case of a swing trade, I asked myself, what is a swing trade? And I say, well, it's a trade I'm going to be in for somewhere between 3 and 9 days. And I asked myself, well, what time would capture a trade like that? And I'd say, well, let's just call it a weekly chart. And so I make a decision on which, okay, let's do it this way. Here's a weekly point of view. Should I use a 4-hour chart or a daily chart now? A daily chart, 6 candles isn't very much. 8 candles isn't very much. So it didn't seem to be the right answer. Should I use a daily, right? So let's do it this way. And yeah, it's pretty good for analysis, for sure. Okay. Is it enough for an entry? No. I mean, you could, but no, it didn't seem to be sensitive enough. But if you're doing analysis, it's great. For an entry, it's not great. So for analysis, you might look at this and say, well, that's an easy head and shoulders. Okay. Yep. Okay. And that's very identifiable in advance. Strategically, you would be on this daily chart. And you could identify that a right shoulder is likely to take place there. So you set all that up. Okay, that's great. That's fine. Then you can go into a 4-hour, and it's a little tougher to see that pattern, right? But it allows for almost a trade. Meaning the daily was way too slow, because this whole period up high here was one daily candle, basically, right? And you're like, wait, there's no trades in there. Like, it's too, right? One candle does not set up a trade, because your next trade would be like that with the next daily candle. So that doesn't work for tactics, but it definitely works for strategy. Daily is really good for seeing where you've been and where things have been going. Then you drop into a 4-hour. It's much more in tune and sensitive to what's taking place in the market. Remember, this is all analysis of the market. And we're looking here at weekly M2, predicts a weekly M4. That gets us a head and shoulders and all that kind of stuff. So you could be ready, willing, and able to sell up here or sell up in here. But you'll notice that even the 4 hours is too slow. So to answer the question, what's the core chart for swing trading? It would be a combination of daily and 4 hour. For strategy only, though. That's why, like, you're saying, well, what's the core chart? Core for what? And I think what you mean is, should you be buying or selling? Are you a bull or a bear? That's a strategy question. Okay, that's a strategy question. So in that case, I would use both the daily. Daily doesn't take long because you just look at that and say, okay, great. And then you drop into a 4 hour and take a little bit closer look. What weekly pivots are we on? What monthly pivots are we on? Is there a change of direction? So for example, you should know from the training courses what this means. That means something. Okay? That is everything right there. What image do I write in my book? What image do I describe in my book for a situation like this? Where you get one, even after a higher high, you get 100% retracement. What imagery do I use to help you remember? Remember, I could tell you, oh, after 100%, a higher high with 100% retracement is therefore going to create a reversal. Nobody remembers stuff like that. Does anyone remember? Type in a question mark if you don't. Not hammock. Nope. There you go. Okay, I talk about after a big rally, this period of long consolidation, and that which creates a reversal. And the key to spotting this thing is right here. The 100% reversal. Okay? Not this. No, not that. But absolutely, totally this. And so the imagery that I use I say in my book, the Forex market reverses like an old man easing into a hot bath. So yes, you could be ready to sell up high because that's simply, you might not see it on a 4 hour, but you would see it on a daily chart. This is simply a head and shoulders pattern. The next part of this that might occur, now of course tonight is a major event risk, but technically you'd probably do this to fulfill that destiny of the move. It wouldn't be a straight down like this. It would be lower low, lower high, roll reversal off the neckline, and then down to this target. Whoa. Okay. But all it means is in here, if you're trading this as a bear, you should be ready, willing, and able to sell as high as possible. But you're like, but Wayne, by the time it happened, it's too late. Yes. That's why you need to anticipate it here. Okay? And you're not fooled by this at all. That's what you were waiting for. Lower low, lower high, drop it like it's hot. And you're like, but Wayne, it's easy. That's hindsight. Yeah. Oh, but Wayne, that's all non-farm payrolls. Yeah, that was down there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead. Just block your brain. Don't let me. I'm sure you can come up with 10 reasons why you don't want to listen. Well, that's you. That's you, not me. Oh, but Wayne. Uh-huh. Yeah. Too bad you're not coachable, huh? Too bad. You don't have instructions for loading the templates. You run the auto installer. Okay. But once again, if you're like, but I still don't get it, it asks me like what folder to put it in. Dude, use YouTube. There's literally 1,000 videos you can watch that says, go to file, go to open folder. Okay. And there's your folder. Okay. And you copy your folder and you pop it in. Okay. And then there's subfolders. Templates go to the template folder. Experts go in the expert folder. Yeah. So do that. So, no problem asking. And maybe you sent me an email last night, but I did get an email last night or this morning. And some guy's like, I used to use Apple, but now I got this other machine. And then I installed the Metatrader, but then I can't put in the files. And I'm like, dude, I'm not your tech support. Use YouTube. You'll figure it out. Okay. They're tools. I made the tools. I paid money to have the tools made. There they are. You should be able to figure it out. Yeah. Or Jim will take care of you. Jim's a nice guy, unlike me. No, I'm not nice. Jim's nice. Yeah. But yeah, seriously, like YouTube, man. YouTube. Right? Yeah. Is that right? Jim's amazing, huh? Oh, is that right? So is there an error or something? Or has something, right? Has there been a change? Like mine are fine, but and I reloaded the charts on my laptop. I haven't had any problems. Oh, is that right, eh? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, look, like I said, you go to File. Okay, look, now since we're all talking about it, let me do it. Where do you install your Metatrader files? You go to File, Open Data Folder. This is the folder in which all your data is stored. Now, there's all kinds of data. So if you have a profile, okay, a profile, what that means is a profile is a combination of charts all on one screen. So the profile for scan USD, right here, scan pivots USD, that's a file. On that file, it's a profile file. And on that file, it just simply says, load the Aussie dollar, USD CAD, Euro dollar, pound dollar charts, organized vertically. That's all it says. And then it'll say, look at the template file for each one of these charts and load on that chart the appropriate template that chart is currently using. So these are like, that chart is using different indicators than this one. They're using different. But when you load that profile, remember we're talking about the profile, it just simply says in this profile, open up these charts in this situation, and these charts happen to have these templates on them. So go find those templates. So that means there's two things going on here. When I click on this tab down here, Scan Pivots USD, it's going to look at the files in this profile folder and go find the right one. Cool. The second thing is then the charts load, and the chart loads and says, open the appropriate template. So here's all my template folders. Now, what is on a template? The template itself is this blank chart plus all the tools installed on it. And these are all the indicators. This moving average, this one, this one, this one, this one. Price action pivot points, load that. Okay. FX bootcamp pivots, load that. The watermark, load that. And then also they have the settings for each. So like make this one black, make that 8, make this open, make this one simple, and then make this one, okay, 55, make it blue, make it exponential, make it closed, so quite different. And it remembers all that information and saves it on the template, so when this loads, it loads up. But then, guess what? Well, where does the template get the indicator? Because the template is just the list. Load these things. What things? So now, okay, so a profile is an organization of charts. Each chart has a template. Each template is made of indicators. So where are the indicators? You click on MQ4, and there's a folder called Indicators. So when it says load the moving average, it looks here. Load the biased pivots. Here they are. Load the price action pivot points. Okay, load that. Load pivots new. Load that. Load the watermark. Okay, load that. And it's just now so the template is just pointing to the indicators, but saving the custom settings of those used on that template. And so that's what we've gone through. That's pretty much it. So if you're installing new files, you go to Open Data folder and say, okay, what do I got here? A profile? Profiles go in the profile. Is it a template? Templates go in the template. But remember, the templates don't store the indicators. The templates just store the settings for the indicators. Okay? Inside of MT4, you have indicators. And then if you're using expert advisors, otherwise known as EAs, those go in experts. So that's it. There's just indicators and experts. Together, that makes they're loaded onto a chart. You can save chart settings as templates, and then you can have multiple templates working in one workspace, which we call a profile. And you just drag them in, and then when you're done, turn off MT4, turn it back on, and it'll load right up. Nah, just drag them in there, James. Don't worry about it. Just drag new stuff in there. If it's a copy, it'll say, do you want to replace it? Yep. Done. I don't like, but I definitely delete crap that I don't need, because for some reason, when you open up a new MT4, they give you this crap. MACD with one line. You're like, I never even seen a MACD with one line. It doesn't even make sense. Metatrader, they're dumb, by the way. I've run into them recently. They're dumb. So you're like, what's a moving average convergence divergence indicator? Oh, it's an indicator that measures the distance between moving averages. Oh, so let's do one with one line. Dude, it measures two lines. That's the whole point of the indicator. This has been this way for 20 years, and they still haven't fixed it. Stupid Metatraders. Stupid meta quotes. Idiots. So anywho, they got mad at me. I was giving away stuff to support their tools, and they got mad at me, and I'm like, okay. Interesting, I thought. So, look, a MACD with one line. Yeah, you could trade with that, I guess. So this is the setup, right? Yeah, I know, it's harsh. I know I got too much sleep or not enough sleep. I can't remember. I had a great cigar last night. I tried a new cigar. I bought a box of them, sort of a sampler of these, and they're spicy, and they're just different. You're like, wow. So I was up late last night, actually, outside on the last warm evening. So maybe I'm a little bitchy. So I apologize. But anyway, so these are the templates that you get with Metatrader. And I don't find them helpful at all. I guess some people trade this way. Yeah, maybe it's the full moon. Oh, the moon last night was amazing. Okay, amazing. Yeah, so you guys know your moon. So anywho. Johnny says he has trouble with the indices. Is that one you mean? Okay, a few things might go wrong. You might want to open the indicator. Okay. And if you're using an ECN or a demo account, or, I mean, there's different situations where you might look at your euro dollar. So like, look at this. You look at, oops, delete this. Okay. If your account says GBP USD then you're going to need to put that in to the indicator so it can read the appropriately. So that's where the instrument suffix comes in and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're all good? Nice. Aaron's feeling cranky too. Yeah. Maybe it's the water from the Mississippi you drink. All right, taking a look. Here's a South African Rand trade. What do you think of that? Can you see what I'm doing? I've missed it. I'm not in yet. But can you figure out the logic? Okay. Here's the entry I'm trying to catch. Oh, Denise says the moon is the favorite thing in the universe, huh? Well, I'm quite partial to the earth. So, yeah, Darko's saying using monthly pivots on this. Remember, I'm not being technical because of the risk event tonight. So I'm only using price. I'm not really looking at market. Yeah. Which way is it going? Bitcoin. I guess we got to look at Bitcoin. Let's just move over there. Yeah, not looking good. Yeah, hang on. I got to do something. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah. Sorry. $19,400. It's falling fast. I gotta. I have a Bitcoin position I need to sell here. Hang on. I just want to get out. Just give me my money. Get out while I can't. I have a feeling like it'll rally up tonight, but I can't take the volatility. Hang on. So did it sell? You sold 0.5 Bitcoin. It's so funny. Sounds so small, huh? All I got is a half a Bitcoin. Anyway, so I had to get out of that. Give me my money. Yeah, down. I see. I expect this to go up just hunch, not anything else, by the end of the night. But I don't want this to drop to 17,000 on the way and then go up to 22,000. So, I just need to move. That's all. I need clarity. I need clarity. That's all. Okay. So yesterday I was learning about or reviewing different types of structured products that banks offer to clients. And I don't know, it was part of a CFA program, only level 1, but I thought the content was interesting. Anybody here have a CFA level 1, 2, or 3? Just wondering if you recommend even just level 1. I thought I'd do. It just seemed like, I guess I kind of miss being in school. Seems like really interesting topics that you have to study hard, pass a test. And even if you have CFA level 1, which is the lowest level, it really stands out on a resume if you ever want to work in the finance industry. They'll always ask every single time. CFA? You're like, well, level 1. Oh, CFA. They're just like, you're either on the path or you're not. Richard's doing it now? Ahmed's got it too? Yeah, right on. So you can do convexity yield curves, right? The convexity of yield curves for me? Oh, and you're doing CMT at the same time? Yeah, I guess it makes sense. There used to be a stigma in the industry. If you had a CMT, people were like, oh, don't hire him. He's a technician. That idiot uses technical analysis. It used to honestly be that way. It would be a strike against you. But, I'm talking about, Joseph and Mary times so long ago. Okay. Anywho, so I'm going to cash. Doesn't seem like much, but that cost me $250. I'm like, I got my back turned to this. I don't want I don't want to do a live stream and lose $2,000 or something. Oh my God. Give me my money. I got to move. Give me the juice. Or it's like the cow say, I got to move. Give me the milk. But that don't work. That doesn't work. I try it. Okay, here we are. We had this drop back into the 90. 90 zone, 90-ish. Makes sense. Tricky price action. You got to decide how you're playing it. Long-term bull or short-term range. Okay, so this is the setup that I did for non-farm payrolls at FX Street. Okay, so that's still how I look at the market. What can I tell you? So let's just kind of mark this like that. And there's only, well, there's these kinds of people. Okay, and then there's these kinds of people. Okay. So, which one's right? Stop asking that. If you still think that way, you're not on the clue train. It's the wrong question. For example, how can we get a rocket ship to move the speed of light? Newsflash, you can't. By doing so, you would destroy the rocket. Stop asking the dumb question. Rockets can't move the speed of light. So, how do you bend the space-time continuum? Oh, that's called a warp drive. Yeah, start trying to figure that out. And you're like, but Wayne, how do you bend the space-time continuum? Well, the moon does it, the earth does it, the sun does it. Obviously, it can be done. Okay, so which one is right? We never know. Never, ever know. So it's more like if you are in favor of the blue line, which means you're a bear, you can plan for a scenario like this, which is closer to a head and shoulders type idea. Okay, so you say, well, Wayne, I think this is a bearish move. Okay, left shoulder, peak, right shoulder, and down. So that means if that's what you believe, now we don't know if you're right, you don't know if you're right, nobody knows if you're right, but the distance from where we are now, let's say here to here to here to here, is the area in which you would want to sell if you were a bear. So the next few hours is you planning this leg of the journey. You got it? You don't know if you're right. You don't even know if you'll get an opportunity. It might just go up and up and up and up and up, in which you were wrong and you never traded. It might roll over up there. And if it does, you'll get in a trade and maybe you'll lose some money. Or it goes up there, rolls over, you get into a trade, and then it starts to make money. You head down to the neckline, you move your stop to break even, neckline holds, it pops back up, knocks you out at break even. Didn't make any money. Or it goes up there, rolls over, you enter a trade, it heads down the neckline, you move your stop at break even, It breaks the neckline and falls, and now you have a profitable trade. You might lose money, you might break even, you might make money. But if you're still saying, well, Wayne, how do I know which one is right? That is a big mistake that you're making. Okay? Moses, a subscription is 365 days, not a calendar year. Okay? So it's interesting, some of you guys studying for the CFA and the CMT. Good for you. I know more have done it or are doing it, but it's not many, of course. But you'll see, like, if you're looking for a job in finance, you'll see something like this on a job post. It'll say, MBA or CFA desired. And if you go to Harvard for an MBA, it's going to cost you $200,000. If you get a CFA, probably cost you, if I would recommend taking classes and stuff, so it cost you $2,000, not $200,000. But to a bank, it's like you either can calculate the convexity of bond yields, or you can't. So that's very desirable. If you have a Harvard MBA, it determines what bank you work at. Do you work at Goldman Sachs or do you work at Fifth Third Bank or Second Bank of New Hampshire or something, right? Okay, you see, so the way you make money is deciding what are you going to do in this gap. That's your job today. Okay. Now see this line way down here? I'll do it in pink. See this line? I drew that last week as a buy zone. Last week. Ahmed, yeah, but to go to Harvard for 5 years as a full-time student. Yeah, of course it requires a lot of time. And it doesn't guarantee you a job. No, not at all. But if you were looking for a job, just imagine the recruiter has 100 resumes. And they have to decide, how do they get that down to the top 20 or top 25? Like, how do you get rid of the bottom 75%? So they look at the manager's desires for the job posting, and they're like, MBA or CFA desired. All right, well, how many don't have an MBA or a CFA? Out. Just garbage bin. All right, 18 of them either have an MBA or a CFA. Does anybody have both? Now, you don't get rid of them, the ones that don't have both, but you want to highlight the ones that don't. So, all right, these two have both. All right, how many have gone to Ivy League schools? Not those two, but these three other went to Ivy League schools. Okay, move them over. Is there anything else that stands out on these other ones? Nope, no, 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 no. Oh, this one's interesting. This guy looks really interesting. Okay, move that over. Boom, get rid of everything. Now you're down to 6. Let's call those 6 guys in. Okay. How many are women? How many are minorities? How many are older? How many have disabilities? How many? What else might stand out as uniqueness to all these candidates? Or are they all middle-aged white men? Right? And it matters. I don't know if they'll admit it, but it matters now. So they'll go through and they're like, okay, great. So, right? And they start critiquing, but they bring those top 6 in. So, Ahmed, it won't guarantee you a job, but you'll probably never get one in that industry without it. You'll never be able to compete because there's enough people with MBAs. There's many people with CFAs. But what I'm telling you is if you had to pick one or the other, you can spend 2 years at Harvard Business School for $200,000, maybe $300,000 by the time you add up all the other expenses. Take you 2 full years. You'll have to quit your job to do it. It's a full-time cohort project. Or you can study CFA part-time after work on nights and evenings and take 3 or 4 years to do it. And it'll only cost you, the cost of the sign-up, the cost of the textbooks. I would recommend taking some classes, and you're like, you can take 4 years to do it. It's only going to be a couple of grand. You can do it in the evenings. You can keep your job. I'm like, dude, no comparison. If a bank or a hedge fund is going to compare an MBA with CFA, do the CFA, don't do the MBA. Unless you can go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale. Okay? Because that'll stand out and get you a job. Okay. Well, the courses at FX Bootcamp are not finance courses. They're economic courses. We don't do finance and trading. We do economics. But I have in my master's degree has a focus on finance, and finance is cool, but that's not what we do here. But it is important. Okay. So that's your decision over the next few hours is what to do in that blue box. That's how you become a trader. The rest is simple technical analysis. For example, let's draw this box again. Put the box back. Okay, so the future, this is the zone here. The rest is technical analysis and risk management, not a problem. So let's say it does this. Done. Sell. Okay, that's it. And your plan looks like that. Put a stop above. Okay. Then it goes, let me put this back to pink. Then it goes like this. Okay. So then at some point, you move your stop to break even. Let her run. Why is Harvard offering some macro classes? You know what? They created edX with MIT. And then they sold it at the peak of COVID for $650 million profit. Not profit, I guess $650 million. So now they can just, but look, knowledge is knowledge. You can learn from me from $88 and get the same concepts that you got from Harvard. The thing is you don't have a Harvard degree, right? That's the thing. Nobody cares that you took an online class from any university. I mean, nobody cares. And it's really, you'd get into trouble very quickly with recruiters and managers if you're like, I went to Harvard. And then you find out it took some Harvard X classes online for $25 or free or whatever it is. And they're like, dude, you didn't go to Harvard. Dude, you did not go to Harvard. Like, people are very particular about that, especially people that went to Harvard. I'm telling you. They're like, dude, you can't just take a couple of hard online classes and say you went to Harvard. So, no. For example, getting into Harvard requires an amazing vetting process. An amazing vetting process. Applying for the school is difficult, right? But then the reason like a Harvard degree is important is people understand, like for my program, 99% of applicants got rejected. I got accepted by the grace of God. They made a mistake and let me in. So when a recruiter looks at that, they're like, oh, you have a degree from Harvard? Yes. Instantly, they're like, this guy stood out to Harvard probably in that, that 90, right? Like most programs at Harvard, I think only 95% of people are rejected. So 99, but this was a rare program. So right then there's like this level of vetting that I had to go through hell and high water to just apply. They looked at thousands of people and they picked this guy. Good. Cha-ching. Also, I have enough money to go to Harvard. Okay. Cha-ching. Or I have enough contacts, or I have whatever, enough experience, but whatever. I won. It's a competition. You have to understand that. So that stands out, like you got actually into the school. I won a competition of thousands of people, and I was one of the best. Okay, great. The next thing is I have a degree. I actually did all 4 or 5 years. I have 2 degrees. And I graduated with honors. So not only did I finish, but I finished one of the best. So now that stands out. Of the 1% that get in, I was awarded a designation, cum laude, being one of the best of the 1%. So that stands out, right? So again, you got to be very careful, and you can fall into a trap where you're like, I took a bunch of Harvard classes online for free, and now you're going to put it on your resume like I went to Harvard. You will get blasted. You will get fired for lying. Like no, because it's not that you went there or you took an online class with a professor that talked about Harvard stuff, because, okay, the professors are great. They actually write the textbooks that other schools use. But the thing is, watching a thing online is different, right? So you got to be very, 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 very careful. I would use it in a job interview differently. I wouldn't put it on my resume. But if they say, so Ahmed, tell us about yourself. What makes you you? Why should we be interested in having you join our team? You're like, I am thirsty for knowledge and growth. I love to challenge myself. So instead of spending the evenings watching Dancing with the Stars and eating a full bag of Doritos, I spend my time and focus on education. I'll give you an example. I've studied for the CFA, right? And have a level 1 CFA because it's fascinating, it's challenging. And I enjoy the challenge. Another one is I went through 3 classes, right? 3 online Harvard classes that were 26 weeks each. Okay? Or I got a certificate of completion for 3 or 4 classes, right? So I have a certificate. No, you didn't get a degree. No, you didn't even have to apply to get into the school. You took some online courses and got a degree, but it describes the kind of person you are. You're thirsty for knowledge. You're fascinated by the industry, and you want to constantly be surrounded by, and then of course insert the topic. What job is it? Is it, And so you got to do it that way. Okay? You got to do it that way. Okay. So anyways, just heads up, because I have heard it before and I've seen the reaction of people. I went to Harvard, and then you find out they took an online class that Harvard gave away for free or for $50. You're like, dude, be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be very, very careful. I'm telling you, it's not me reacting. I'm telling you, I've seen it. It's a death trap if you say something like that. Global investor. All resumes are half lies. The problem is nobody knows which half. Ahmed, been curious, an Ivy League school versus a normal school. So I went to university in the 90s, a very regular school. And then, of course, more recently, I've been to like the best school in the world. Harvard was difficult. I'm even getting tingly. All of a sudden, I'm thinking about it. Like, no joke. Look at that. I got goosebumps all of a sudden. Just, you made me think about it. Harvard was difficult. Some of my classes I would describe as insanely difficult. And others are just fabulously interesting. So imagine you're at let's say, as you say, a regular school, I think you said, or normal school. They bust out a textbook and then they teach. At Harvard, the guy that's teaching wrote the book. Okay? But it's not all like other schools do that. So a friend of mine went to Georgetown, and for his political science class, Madeleine Albright was teaching the class. Yeah, the Secretary of the United States. So my friend learned, right? Or like when I was at MIT, my professor was Gary Gensler, the guy that now runs the Security and Exchange Commission and regulates Forex, cryptocurrencies. Well, it was a cryptocurrency class I took at MIT. So you're like, what's the difference between a normal school and like MIT's not Ivy League, but it's prestigious, the best engineering university in the world. And so you're learning from like the people, the most important people. And that there's something to that. My macroeconomics class was taught by someone who works at the same time as they were teaching, worked at the Fed. I took other classes on economics. Those professors worked at the Fed. Just a different Fed. New York Fed versus Boston Fed. Like stuff like that, you're like, whoa, what? Yeah. Lucas says, did part of the difficulty come from the program you're in? Very much so. They canceled my program because it was too difficult. Yeah, that was part of it, but not completely. Some of the classes were hard. One class, see, if you get a C, they don't count it. It's like you never took the class. You get 0 credit for a C. You have to take the class over again. But your GPA drops. So they count your C in your GPA, but you don't get credit for having ever taken the class. So you've wasted thousands of dollars, devastated your GPA, and you got to do the class over again, right? So you wasted 26 weeks or whatever it is for your of your life. Like, it's terrible. And I was having trouble in one of the math classes, and I was about 4 weeks in, and I'm like, fudge, I'm really struggling. I'm not a math guy. I'm like, I'm really struggling. And this was one of those classes that it was just so much information coming at you so fast, you can't get behind. And once you got behind, it's like finishing the race with a broken leg. You can't catch up. So I hired tutors and everything. I spent 3 hours a day with a tutor, like just to grind through it. And I got a B in the class. I came all the way back. I would have failed the class. I wasn't even going to get a C. I was going to get like a D minus. Like there was just, oh my God. So like I had to do whatever it took to do that. That was partially me because that was a hard subject. The macroeconomics class was insanely difficult. It was insane. I was teaching myself calculus to try to figure out this stuff. That was insane. The class on the oil industry that I did was insane. Difficulty. Okay, so those are the individual classes. But like, as far as my program, one of the things I had to do every summer was live on campus at the university. I stayed in the dorms. Well, they don't have dorms, they have houses, right? So I have Leverett House, Kirkland House, Quincy House, the one with the fish, the 3 fish, what the hell is it called? I can't remember. So anyways, I've stayed at multiple houses over the years. So I've lived at Harvard. I've eaten in all the different halls, like literally went to Harvard, right? But in the summer school program, there's 5,000 students. Okay. By the time people failed out of my program, they only took 20. Very, very quickly, it dropped down to 15 and then 12 and then 10. So imagine this. Out of 5,000 students going to Harvard summer school, the 12 of us in my program were doing twice the workload. Imagine that, Lucas. Twice the workload as every single other person. They were not allowed to do what we were required to do. There was not enough time to sleep. And you're like, dude, you do weeks of that where you're not even sleeping? Yeah, and I also trade Forex, and I got my coaching time in and a bunch of other things like, yeah. That program was hard, man. And to come out an A student was really something. Yeah, it was really something. because the other students were probably not raising children, right? The other students were probably not waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning to do a live stream. They were doing half the workload at the same time. You're like, yeah, the program is difficult. And that's why we had a 50% dropout rate. And these were in the 1% that got selected. And now they've basically have canceled the program. Yeah. So, yeah. So is there a difference? Is there a difference between, as somebody said, a normal university and a school like Harvard? Yeah, because the people that got out are, proven. Have I already discussed the different effects on the election results? I'm going to cover the election live, so swing over there and I'll tell you my thoughts. Yeah. Does everybody have the link for tonight's 3-hour live stream? We're going to watch BBC, CNBC, CBC, Fox Business, I think I said CNN, Al Jazeera. Hang on, I went to the wrong one. So, sorry for today. I know I'm babbling. I'm responding to your questions, but let me try to share another sort of point of view of why I'm just sort of babbling today. I don't want to get you into a trade. I don't want you to get excited about trading right now. So right now I'm just hanging with you, friends, companions, colleagues, but I'm trying to keep your powder dry so that you have money to trade tomorrow. I think we're going to get volatility tonight. You can probably get some scalps in, but I don't even think the best trades are going to happen till tomorrow. Okay. Oh, Raymond's here. Yeah, Raymond, 7 p.m. Hey, Raymond, we were all, this is, I guess, a comment to the whole group. A couple of months ago, I said, has anybody ever kissed a draft on the lips? And I think Raymond said yes. And I'm like, what? Because I've asked that question 100 times before. Nobody ever says yes. And Raymond's like, yep. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And also a baby rhinoceros. I'm like, really? Well, I got a new one for you, Raymond. Huh? I touched the nose of a warthog. A real mean one, too. Yeah, a warthog. I even got a picture of it. I touched the nose of a warthog. Let me pull this up and I'll show you the picture of this crazy warthog. A mean one. Here it is. Sorry for the... There you go. Look at that. You're like, what? What is a warthog, Wayne? Huh? Look at that. And can you notice that it's not an exhibit? You're thinking, oh, so you went to an air show where they rope everything off and they let all the public come over and talk to the pilot and stuff. Where? Where's the rope off? There's no rope off. It won't focus now, huh? Anyways, no, that's not roped off. Cool though, right? Yeah. Anyways, markets are moving. Yeah, well, here's the thing. We have dollar weakness. Okay. Okay, we have, let's do this. Because look, markets are moving as a chasing idea. Okay. Gold is going up, Bitcoin is going down. So Ahmed, dollar's weak? No, dollar's strong. What? Okay, so be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. I don't care if the market's moving. That's not the point, right? Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen again, sorry. Yeah, so anyways, Raymond, I volunteered on Saturday. I did about 8 or 9 hours worth of work for charity. I was out on the tarmac. The sun hadn't even come up yet, like an hour before. And was working the VIP area, raising money and doing work there. And we did really cool. It was a really cool gig. And so afterwards, you know, basically behind the scenes. Yeah. So anywho, guys, don't trade because the markets are moving. Okay? Don't trade because the markets are moving. Okay? What did I tell you earlier is the secret to your job. Okay? The secret to your job is you've identified a zone in which you are interested in selling. So you wait and you set it up where you drop a limit order. I mean, you could do that. You can just say, well, you can drop a limit order here. Or you can wait for it to just kind of work up and then work down. And what's the strategy here? You're a bear, and that's a head and shoulders trade. And the time of day is right. Now, my guess is this would go up till about 1, and then we can drop it. So I even have a guess on time, but let's say you don't have a guess on time. But this idea, the market's moving, that's a price chaser. There's market makers, there's price takers, and then there's price chasers. And the market's moving is irrelevant. I could have done this 3 hours ago and been done. That was my day. Can you imagine that? Do you understand that that's a valid trade? I can say, yeah, if it comes up to 92.50, so I'll move it here, sell it. I could have done that 3-4 hours ago. I'm done. Oh, the market's moving. I'm not watching the market. I'm done. Price comes up, hits it, puts me into, moveon.com. That kind of thing, right? So to me, it's not about the market moving. It comes down to the strategic plans that you have in place and the biases that were required to get that going. So if we are suddenly getting volume and volatility, one thing I noticed right away is gold and Bitcoin contradict each other. So, hey, maybe they are moving. Maybe I don't want to be in those trades. Okay? So we have dollar weakness. We have dollar weakness. We have dollar weakness. And we have dollar weakness. So I can clear out these trade plans. It doesn't make much sense. Well, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave those. Okay? Okay? But I could look at this other trade here. Oh, look how close I had it. It was so close. Good trade, though. This is actually an example of a front run trade. I think based off of a Darko comment a week and a half ago. A week ago? I believe it was 25th or 26th of October. So 2 weeks ago. And I said, if you're going to do it, get in the trade early. Okay. Lucas has his own Air Force base. That's cool. Elon Musk can't say that, huh? Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about this as a front run? This is pre FOMC. This is pre NFP. This is pre midterm elections. Is that right? That's pretty, yeah, destroyers. Yeah, well, they wanted to name a destroyer class after my family too, but we found it too ostentatious. Oh, it's so gaudy. By the way, I've been talking to the hotel in Nashville to set up our annual get-together. I'm thinking January 2024. And I said I need to go see the rooms and stuff because I have very particular rooms I have in mind and very particular networking events I have in mind. Yeah, like the room block, I believe, was about $250. And that's good. That's really good. So imagine we all had, rooms on the same floor where it'd be easy for us all to meet up and stuff like that. And then I have to rent the rooms and I have to spend many hundreds of dollars per person in food and catering. But don't worry, I can do that. So I hope you would come to this event. I'm thinking every January we can meet and I can do a presentation on the next 12 months. A real in-person event. All right, so no questions about the front run. Okay, but then let me just say, if you're going to front run, that's the way to do it. Right, Roger, more than a year from now. Because I contacted them, and maybe this is a sign of the U.S. economy, they're fully booked. This year, they're like, no. They're like, no, forget it. I mean, maybe we can do a summer event. But summer's usually meant for family. I would guess, because remember, everything is very, very expensive. I would guess with your room, let's say, I don't know, let me just throw out a number. I'm not saying this might be way off. Let's say $1,000 a head to attend, and then your room is $250 a night, which is pretty good. That's very cheap compared to the normal. I mean, how many nights? I don't know, 4 nights, depending on what we want to do. 3 nights, 2 nights. And then I don't think we would have the budget to cover like dinners and lunches and breakfasts and stuff like that. So probably no meals, but I could, what I want to do is networking events to practice things like describing Forex trading and your money management and all that kind of stuff to a stranger at a cocktail party. So they have these beautiful areas, surrounded by waterfalls or tropical trees and, with lights everywhere. So like really, really beautiful setting where I could have a bar and some maybe hors d'oeuvres set up, and we practice just networking. And then after about 5 minutes, I can ring a bell. All right, everybody switch, find a new stranger. Hey, my name is Wayne. What do you do? Oh, I'm a currency trader. Currency trading? What's that? Oh, well, I'm basically a financier for third world countries. It's really fascinating. Really? Yeah, how do you do that? Oh, and then off you go. Okay. I don't think it has to be that much, Raymond. I don't think it'd be that much. Depending if we're doing like the full on fundraising boot camp, let's say capital raising boot camp. Yeah, maybe, but it would be a smaller group and more intimate. And then we can do a second one where maybe people just come in for Friday night, Saturday night, and we spend Saturday doing just fun stuff, right? So maybe we'll go back to that idea where for those that are staying for 4 days, 5 nights, or 4 nights and 5 days, there's one conference, and then there's a second one, which is just 2 nights and 1 day, and basically a great fun get together, right? So anyways. Yeah. I mean, look, we can do whatever we want. But if you've ever, so like when I worked in the nonprofit world, we always did conferences all the time. Eight a year, 9 a year, 12 a year, that kind of stuff. Like it's constant. So if you've ever wondered, you're like, why do these guys charge $1,000 to go to an event? These guys are making money. These guys are, they're getting rich. Okay. Oh, let's order a keg of beer for the group. Okay. There's a fee for the beer. It's 3 times more than a normal keg of beer. Oh, there's going to be a charge for them to bring it to the room, set up a bar. You're going to have 2 bartenders. You have to pay them per hour. There's a fee to tap the keg, like $100. You got the keg. Now it's $100, put the tap on it so the 2 bartenders can pour the beer for your clients. So you've rented the room, you bought the beer, you had the beer delivered, you had the beer tapped, you bought the cups, you are renting the bar, and you're paying 2 bartenders. So you're like, dude, I spent $1,000 and this guy has like some couple of microwave hors d'oeuvres and some crappy beer. Dude, the beer cost $1,000. And you're like, but it's Bud Light. It's only $40 to get a keg. No, it's $1,000, bro. So anyway, also I was at a conference right before COVID, and at this hotel, in fact, but they had the grand ballroom and everything. It was a big conference, and people were complaining that the Wi-Fi in the room was bad. So they, instead of using the hotel Wi-Fi, which the hotel said would be enough, they had to get special Wi-Fi for the grand ballroom. $15,000 a day for the Wi-Fi in the grand ballroom. So you're like, yeah. Yeah, that's why it's expensive. So a little guy like me used to spend, $200,000 a year going to conferences and setting up booths and stuff like that. $200,000 a year. And I only did a few shows. And then I got sick of it and just got sick of it. Yeah, with the flight stuff, maybe. You're probably going to end up drinking fancy bourbon and smoking fancy cigars. Yeah, well, better bring an extra grand. So anywho, guys, I'm not trying to get you in the trades. I'm trying to get you to be conservative. We have a big event tonight. It's going to be scary. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. My experience tells me the better trades are the tomorrow morning. But is that in the Asia session? Is that in the London session? Is that in the New York session? Well, once again, I don't know. So if you go to today's event, I'll go over an overview of like the scenarios. Democrats keep power. Democrats lose the Senate. Democrats lose the Senate and the House. Probably different scenarios going on there. And so we can talk about it. Should be fun. Make sure you go over and click the notify button. So when I start, you'll be there. The rest of the day, I would caution you, don't chase price. Plan your trades. Like, we're looking at this peso trade. Okay. And if you drop into the smaller time frame, well, let me do it this way. Let's go back to the 4 hour. The way I've taught you to trade is to trade off this zone. Okay. That's it. So what did you do today? You had a trade plan, even though this was green, you're a bear. Okay? You're a bear. Let me get a little tighter. Because remember, on the higher time frame, you're trying to predict where the 21 EMA is on the 4 hour. We're on a 15-minute chart. Did you ever notice that that's what the 200 EMA is doing? When you're staring at a 15-minute chart, I can see the 4 hour 21. And it's not just the 4 hour 21, it's the future 4 hour 21. So anywho, let's go back to this. You're a bear. You have been a bear. And today is like no other day. Or like every other day, sorry. Today is like every other day. You're a bear. So what do bears do? They sell high. At resistance. That's it. It's so boring. It's so simple. It's boring. I know. So you answer questions like, or ask questions and then answer. Where's resistance? How about this low? How about the future 21 EMA? So you might have it a little further above. That's where it is now. You might have had it a little bit lower, like where we've already identified, right? But you get the idea that you simply look for resistance. Okay? Lower than the resistance before. So that you get a basic pattern that looks like this. It might look a little different. Okay? You see? One of those things, right? That's what we do, right? Does it have to be more complicated? No. But the thing is, once it was up here, you were looking to sell. Everybody else is chasing price. You see? Let me zoom in here. Everyone's chasing price. Your plan probably yesterday was, yeah, somewhere around here, it's a big sell. And you're like, but what about this? Wasn't even watching that. Okay. Wasn't it? Oh, yeah. Looks like noise to me. So that's all. I want you to be patient. I want you to be disciplined. I just barely missed this. But again, if I was actually trading and not doing a live stream, I could probably have caught that. But the money is made because of the way I think, or in this case, the way you think. That when I was down here, I didn't sell. When we were down here, I said, yeah, the zone in which I want to sell is up here. So now, as a trader, if we get up there, I'm ready, willing, and able to dump it. Not a problem. Pachow, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But I think a lot of people might have chased this up. Meanwhile, or even worse, right? Where are the mistakes? They're chasing this up here, or they're chasing it down here. Probably two good ways to lose money on this. Expect this to keep falling, or expect this to keep rising. A laggard versus just expecting something like this. So I need you to do research so that you're opinionated. And once you're opinionated about direction, the rest is simple technical analysis. And the reason I say simple technical analysis is you're not looking at your moving averages to make a decision for you. You're not looking at your MACD, your CCI, your RSI. You're not looking to your indicators to make decisions. You're not looking to your pivot points to tell you what to do. You already know what you want to do. And what happens is your perspective changes, and now you're using the tools to measure current conditions. Should I sell now or should I sell later? There's a big difference in question than should I buy or should I sell? And how do I know which one's right? Those are bad questions. They're wrong questions. Okay? So please survive today. Don't lose a lot of money. Keep your powder dry so when the market is moving, then you're able to make some trades. Yes, we're going to have volume and volatility tonight. Yes, there'll probably be some great scalps. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 300 pips up, 300 pips down. I've seen it many times before. Ultimately, I'm not going to put you into rah, go, scalp, let's get rich quick trades, but they'll probably happen. And then I would guess that better fundamentals will present themselves 12 hours, 15 hours, 24 hours after the election has been decided. And we'll be able to let those puppies run because puppies love running. So, love you, babe. Got to jump. That was real. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. If you're new, please subscribe. I'll see you tonight for, again, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for the live stream. Will be about 3 hours. Again, Bloomberg, CNBC, CNN, Fox Business, CBC, BBC, Al Jazeera. We'll get lots of perspective and insight from many, many different points of view. Meanwhile, we'll watch the charts, we'll eat our pizza, and we'll drink our beer. Peter says, hey, could I do euro dollar? Yes, I'll do your euro dollar for Peter, but I'm going to give you an ad. All right. I always forget. That's for YouTube, by the way, not for me. Euro. All right. Let's change perspective. Let's look at Confluence. Russian TV? Do I have Russian TV? I don't know. It's all English that I have. Plus it'll be evening, huh? Spigoni noche. All right. All right. So what do I see? Okay. The charts tell me our bottom is here. Our top is 102. Maybe with huge amounts of volatility, 103.5. Maybe. Okay. So I wouldn't be shocked if we had a scenario of up, down, and then maybe some more up later. Okay. Yeah, something like that. But that's what it says. It's not my opinion. Okay. So once again, someone else is going to come along and say, Wayne, how do you know we are going to break above this? I don't. But I'm doing technical analysis. Technical analysis doesn't tell you if it'll go up or down. People have to really grasp that. What does technical analysis tell me? Price and time, and you're trying to use patterns. So, a very, very, very basic pattern that we all know, and if you don't know, you need to join FX Bootcamp. This predicts that. That's done. Done. So I read the chart. That's what it says. Well, how do you know it will make a higher high? How do you know it will break here and get through resistance? Well, I don't know any of that. I'm just reading the chart. Why do you ask such esoteric questions? I don't know how the magician that pulled the rabbit out of the hat. I don't know. It's not my job. You're asking me to read. I'm not writing the poetry. That's just what it says. Okay, that's that. I can also tell you that that makes sense over the last 20 years and over the last 5 years. That's what typically happens. We all cover this in seasonality. Okay. I also believe a lot of money is coming out of the market from the euro dollar shorts that were down in here. But I've talked about that till I'm blue in the face, right? Cool. Okay. And so now we have another low here. And now what? Now maybe things are changing this way. But the thing is, I have some pretty good ideas of how long that can last and when it'll likely stop and when I will go back to buying dollar. Cool. Okay. Okay. The other thing I read in this chart is this. Do you guys get that as well? Yeah. Well, that's what it says, David, right? So it is both bullish and bearish, but every market is almost always both bull and bearish. So you're like, but which one do I do? You do both. What this says is there's obvious resistance here. Obvious resistance. So someone is probably, I don't know, but there's a high probability of some profit taking there. And the next wave is up. Why? Well, that's the pattern. That's what it says. Like, look. That's what it says. And you're like, Wayne, I don't understand these things. Okay, let's try this differently. Let's look at the swing trading bullish bias so that I can cut out information to make it simple. Okay? This is what it says. Can you see it? What does it say? Can you read this? Bullish profit zone. They're going to take profit. Oh. Okay. So that means here to here. So they take profit. That means the market will come down. It doesn't mean it's bearish. Money comes out of the market, hits that area, and then what does it do? Up. So it's bullish, profit taking, bullish. Oh. Okay, well, that's easy. I know, right? But I think trading today in general is, well, your decision. I will see you tonight. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope everything works out. Gold strong, Bitcoin weak. Wowzer. Good luck with that. Are these truly the market conditions that you want to be trading? Maybe. Maybe, right? Maybe. Dollar's tanking. Money coming out of the market, most likely. Yeah. Aussie's taking off. Great. Been waiting for that for a while. Okay. And everything, yeah, a little mediocre. So, yeah, maybe some Aussie dollar. Maybe. Pound doesn't look that great. Kiwi still looks strong. You wouldn't want Swissy. You wouldn't want CAD. You wouldn't want yen. You wouldn't want euro. So, yeah, whatever. But I caution you, are you trading now because you're hungry? When you go shopping when you're hungry, you'll buy anything. Or are you a titan of industry where you wait for your market conditions and you make your trades? You are the market. I sell lower highs in a downtrend. I buy higher lows in an uptrend. And I don't care what anybody else does. That's what the Wayne do. And I'm trying to teach you to be patient, disciplined, conservative as well. I will see you tonight. Cheers.